Hey guys, this is ADWCTA, Whispers of the Old God Arena Meta Review Warrior Edition. As we all know, Blizzard has been really good to the Warrior in the last two expansions, or in the last expansion, and they're still really good to the Warrior in this expansion. So we'll see how the Warrior changes and how the Warrior adjusts to the meta. The Warrior is a little meta dependent, a little more so than other classes. They can adjust to things, but because of their hero power, it kind of all depends on the cards. So we'll see what's happening here. The first thing is that you're going to get a bunch of taunts, right? And if you get a bunch of taunts, that means you can use your face more liberally on your opponents, on your opponent's minions, which is good because weapons are the most powerful when you get to throw them into minions. And you will get to throw them into a lot of minions because taunting will give you enough time to armor up later on in the late game so that you don't die. And then you can use more weapons if it really gets to that late of the late game. On the other hand, taunts are bad when your opponents play them because your weapons hit into the taunt and you don't get to hit what you want to hit. Overall, I think this is a net negative for the Warrior. Because Warriors also have charge minions, which also get stopped by taunts, and you really want to know which minion you're hitting, right? Like, you don't want to Arathi Weaponsmith and then hit into the Cyclotron that is put out. Actually, that's probably a bad example. That's fine. You don't want it to hit into the Squirming Tentacles that has come out, right? Like, you want to hit the minion behind the Squirming Tentacles that has 1 or 2 health that you really would rather just remove outright. So taunts do put the Warrior in a weird position. One of the best things about Warrior weapons is that they're flexible and they can go face. And when your opponent taunts, you kind of lose that ability. So the fact that Warrior's removals come in the form of weapons is not good when your opponent taunts. They're not the same as fireballs to the face. You can't finish your opponents off in as guaranteed of a way. Taunts are very bad for more aggressive Warriors. So Warriors are going to start shifting more defensively, which kind of fits what Blizzard's doing, right? That's why Warriors getting a lot of class taunts too. They are going to play the card advantage game. And that's kind of dangerous for the Warrior because their hero power doesn't give them any card advantage, and a lot of other hero powers do. So the Warrior is kind of in that weird zone again when this meta comes, where its cards are going to be very suited for card advantage games, but you know that at the point in which you're top decking and your opponent's top decking, you're going to eventually lose that war. So you have to still go face, and then your opponents can taunt, and it kind of screws you over. So you have to take more risks as the Warrior in the late game, but you do have the tools in which to make it to the late game with a good amount of card advantage, because every weapon you have, it's pretty much 2 for 1. And you'll get some cards here too, as we'll see, that's kind of 2 for 1 as well. So first, LOE is going away, and that means you are getting minus 33% offering rate on Fierce Monkey, minus 33% offering rate on Obsidian Destroyer. Those are some huge losses for the Warrior. You're essentially taking out 2/3 of a really great card out of the card pool. There's just, you got to replace that, right? So let's see how the Warrior is replacing that. The first way the Warrior is replacing that is not with common cards, but with rare cards. Ancient Shieldbearer. Such an important card for the Warrior, because it is a Cthulhu card, and so it does not exist in the arena, and instead, its offering rate is being passed on to the Bloodsail Cultist and Blood to Ichor. Bloodsail Cultist is a 3/4 pirate. Very good card. Now, on top of that, and Warriors have some pirate synergies anyway, because of all the weapons, it has a battle cry, where if you control a pirate, give your weapon +1/+1. You're not going to have pirates all that often, even though 2 of the class cards are pirates. But when you do, and you have a weapon in hand, it's insanely powerful. So it's already good, and it gets insanely powerful if you can hit its combo. And more importantly, its offering rate is plus 200%, which means that the Bloodsail Cultist offering rate is identical to the offering rate of a Warrior class card. I'm going to repeat this again. The Bloodsail Cultist offering rate, even though it's a rare, is identical to a Warrior class common card that is not in the Whispers of the Old God set. So you are going to be offered Bloodsail Cultist as often as you're going to be offered Fiery Windaxe. That's being offered a lot, especially because it's a rare card. It's not a common card. So we need to like wrap our heads around that when we're thinking about how the arena meta is being affected. Bloodsail Cultist as often as a Fiery War Axe, even though Bloodsail Cultist is rare. So that's what I mean by Ancient Shieldbearer is the most important card for the warrior in Whispers of the Old God. The very fact that it is not there, and also it's a crappy card if it were actually a card in the arena, so the fact that it's not there is not just that warriors won't be offered this crappy card, warriors will be offered a lot of this really, really good rare card. So what's the other rare card? It is Blood to Ichor, 1 mana, deal 1 damage. If the minion survives, summon a 2/2 slime. Shades of Slam, right? And it's even better than Slam, because oftentimes you really do just need to ping a minion once. Right? Think of all the Divine Shields. Think of the fact that you don't have a ping. So this is a ping. And if you just use it as a 1 mana, 1 damage ping, it's totally fine. It actually is really good for tempo, because you're generally not pinging 1/1 minions. You're pinging minions that are like 4/1 or whatever, right? So that's fine. And if you need to just deal 1 extra damage to a minion, you get an extra 2/2 minion for free tempo-wise. So this is an insanely good card. This is a better card than Slam. And Slam is a pretty good card. So you have Bloodsail Cultist, which is a better card than a Spider Tank, and you have Blood to Ichor, which is a better card than Slam, and those are already really good cards. So you have 2 near premium cards. Maybe they're premium cards. They're kind of on that border between premium and like just really, really good. And they are both going to be offered as often as your common class cards. That's amazing. And that's the effect of Athiuen, and it is really, really helping the warrior here. Now, we can go now to the common cards, and the common cards kind of fit into this theme of pinging or being pinged. So, Ravaging Ghoul is a 3 mana, 3/3, and it deals 1 damage to all other minions. That is a ping. Warriors need ping. And if you have a minion on the board that has 1 health, you can just throw it into something else before you Ravaging Ghoul. It also trades evenly with the Spider Tank. It's a very good card. It's not as good as a Dread Inferno, because a 6/6 is better than a 3/3, but it is very, very good nonetheless. It is almost as good as a Dread Inferno, and Dread Infernos are insane. So you have a very good card here for the warrior. But it's going to be overshadowed by the other card that pings, N'Zoth's First Mate. Remember when we said that when we have weapons, when we have taunts, we're more free to use our face to hit things? That's going to come in really handy, because N'Zoth's First Mate is a 1 mana card that gives you a 1/3 weapon. It is the first warrior weapon with 3 as its base durability, so you're going to hit a lot of things with it. And the things are going to be kind of big compared to the 1 damage it deals. You're hitting like 2 1s, right? Sometimes you'll deal an extra damage to something with 3 attack or 4 attack. So you're going to take a lot of face damage if you play it in the early game or the mid game or any time. But again, you have a ping. You don't even have just 1 ping, you have 3 pings. As long as it doesn't run into your other weapons, and it shouldn't, because warriors average like 3.5 weapons right now, and N'Zoth's First Mate kind of keeps that pace. Because we don't really have other weapons in the set. And it is actually the very first weapon, the very first common warrior weapon that has been released since Death's Bite and Nax. Ogre Wormhole is not a card. So we're long overdue as warriors for a weapon, and we only got one. And it's an excellent one. It comes out as a 1 mana card that you can play as a 1-drop, which is really good because warriors need a way to get the board. It's also a pirate. N'Zoth's First Mate, coin, Bloodsail Cultist, win game, right? So it's an insanely good card. This is one of the best cards released in this entire set. The best, I guess, common card released in this entire set. It blows, what other people consider really good cards out of the water, right? Like, it's better than Mage Faceless card. It's better than that Shaman Faceless card. It's probably better. It's almost certainly better than Divine Strength, and I think very highly of Divine Strength. So this is just like a top-notch card. Cannot emphasize how good it is. So the third warrior card is Bloodhoof Brave, 4 mana, 2/6 taunt, which is already pretty good, right? Like, you have your Sen'jin that's pretty good. 2/6 is not as good of a stat distribution, but for a taunt, you could kind of see how it may be close to Ascension in power, but on top of that, it has an Enrage mechanic. Yes, Enrage is still a thing in Hearthstone. We haven't seen an Enrage card in a while, but we got a common neutral Enrage card in this expansion, and we're getting one for the Warrior. So it'll synergize with Ravaging Ghoul and with all the other things that will hit all of your minions, which Death's Bite still in the meta for the arena. This is not constructed, this is not standard, it's wild. So you got some potential here. And Bloodhoof Brave has 6 health. Its Enrage is going to trigger, right? Like, you don't have to worry about that. So it becomes a really good card. And so we have another really good card. So 3 premium common cards, 2 premium rare cards that'll be offered as much as premium common class cards. That's an addition of 5 premium class cards into this meta that's at around common rarity or higher, like, or even more frequently than common rarity, which class cards are. Just to put this, like, I think I need to make the point again. Bloodcell Cultist will be offered twice as much as a Chillwind Yeti. Twice as much as a Chillwind Yeti. How ridiculous is that? I mean, that's ridiculous. Athiuen is definitely a very warrior-friendly god because it is not in the arena. So warriors are going to be doing very well. Blood Warriors and Tentacles for Arms are the epic cards. They're not very good. Blood Warriors in particular, right? Add a copy of each damage-friendly minion to your hand. It kind of tracks the mana cost from the difference between Battle Rage and Echo of and Arcane Intellect. Like Battle Rage is to Arcane Intellect, as Blood Warriors is to Echo of Medivh. Except for the fact that Echo of Medivh, you can play a card and then play Echo of Medivh, and that gets copied. Also, your face is damaged with Battle Rage, whereas Blood Warriors doesn't do anything with your face. So Blood Warriors is just kind of like a much worse version of Echo of Medivh, whereas Battle Rage is a much better version of Arcane Intellect. And Tentacles for Arms, you know, I'm not as down on it as a lot of people are. I'm also not thinking it's a great card. It's playable in the late game, right? Especially as we're getting to more and more of the late game. You just keep playing this card and hero powering and squeezing your other cards in, and you'll get more tempo than your opponent will. It does cost a card, so we'll take like maybe 3 casts of this to really like kind of make it worth your while that you're actually getting card advantage out of this. And that would be 15 mana. As well as a ton of face damage, so the price is very steep, but it's definitely not like an undraftable card, right? It's bad, but it's not an undraftable card. And so that's Warrior. You may think, wow, you seem to be really high on Warrior. I am high on Warrior in terms of the card quality. I'm low on Warrior in terms of how it fits into this meta. And I'm also low on Warrior because it just basically lost a really good card because of the OE changes, right? Fierce Monkey, Obsidian Destroyer were great. They're going to go away. And these new cards are going to do a very commendable job of filling the space left by those 2 cards. But I think only N'Zoth's First Mate is like hands down better than Obsidian Destroyer or Fierce Monkey. So you're just getting some replacements of those. But still, right? Overall, the Warrior class pool is going up. And so Warrior is going to get better. Final rank, 7.5 out of 10. Warrior will move up. Warrior was number 5. Kind of on the same level as Warlock. Warlock being number 6 in our Ode ratings. We're going to get to Druid, and you're going to see how Druid is moving down a bit. So Warrior may become the 4th best class in the meta. Like, Warrior has really gotten a long way since TGT, right? Blizzard has really made it a point to make Warriors rise in the arena, and it's had a good effect. And you can also see how you can print all of these insanely amazing cards, and Warrior still won't be touching, like, Mage, Rogue, Paladin, right? So you kind of, as Blizzard, you don't have to worry about printing amazing Warrior cards for the arena, just because of its hero power. It will never be as good as Mage or Rogue or Paladin. But if it's beating the Druid, that's a pretty big step, right? It was by far the unplayable worst hero, and now it's in the upper half of heroes. That's a pretty big deal. Still some work to be done on Hunter and Priest, but this is definitely a good sign. That's it for me. This is ADWCTA. This is the Whispers of the Old God card review, meta-analysis for the arena. Patrons are over here. Thank you guys for feeding the goat. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. We do also 12-win runs and just other good arena content. Goats Gone Wild is our kind of like personal highlight reel that we do every 2 weeks. If you're into the arena and you're into like watching stuff, like this is a good channel to sub to.